Suit up, strap in, warm the tires, and leave on yellow. Time for the MitsuTimes podcast, presented by MitsuTimes.org, the home of the fastest Mitsubishi cars. With your host, Josh.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Josh with MitsuTimes. Today, my guest is Jono. He is the owner and driver of one of the coolest Ralliarts I've ever seen. How are you doing today, sir?
Pretty good yourself?
I'm great, man. You're my first guest from Australia, and I got to say, the first time I saw you submit a slip or submit a lap time, I looked at that car and thought, man, that is really cool. That is a really cool build that they got going on over there.
Thank you. Yeah, it's taken a little bit of time to go from just a plain car to where it is now.
Yeah, I bet. There's so much done. All I can see is the outside part, so what you've done underneath must be even crazier.
We're slowly getting there. It's had a little bit of work done across the years. Obviously, the budget only allows for a little bit at a time, but
right.
It's slowly getting there. We've got a bit coming next year as well, so
good deal.
It's a work in progress.
Heck yeah. Well, Jono, why don't you tell us about the setup on the car as it sits now?
Yeah, so it's currently got a set of D2 circuit racing coilovers. It's got hard race suspension suspension setup on it, so all control arms, low control arms, all that type of stuff. D2 six-pot brakes at the front, Evo 10 Brembos at the back, running Intima RR circuit pads, which got released earlier this year. Did amazing for us at World Time Attack. It was never easy using a brand new pad at a big event, so that was it was a bit of a testing thing, but we got there and they performed just as well as we were expecting them to.
Great.
Apart from that, just your main stuff, so your tyres. So we, for World Time Attack, you run a control tyre, so the Advan AO 52s. Other than that, we normally run Nankang CRS tyres, so
okay.
Pretty basic grassroots motorsport tyres there. Other than that, just a Veris wing, bit of carbon around the place. Car's tuned to 260 kilowatts, which is like 355 horsepower for you guys. But apart from that, it's pretty much just a highly modified street car. Still in that bracket of a street car, though. Yeah.
Have you done anything to the transmission? I know the SST seems to scare a lot of people.
It does scare a lot of people. We actually had a really good run. So stock SST looked after us for 5 years of just straight track work.
Wow.
Which was really amazing. Everybody just told me, stay away from it. It's going to break. It's going to do this. It's going to do this. And we're like, okay, hey, whatever. So we put 260 kilowatts through it for 5 years, and it finally let go, God forbid, on a trailer. We loaded it up one night to head out to our local track, and then got to the circuit, and we went to roll it off, and it couldn't find first, third, or fifth gear.
Oh my gosh!
Like, oh well, that's our time. The lovely guys at AK Racing up in Queensland here looked after me and built the transmission, put a 12-plate clutch in it as well, and we're good to go.
Good deal. Yeah, the SST, so many people talk about not wanting to do this or not wanting to do that because they have the SST, but then, I see all these cars racing and using the SST. I think, well, it must not be as bad as people say.
We must be a bit special down here because I think there's at least 4 shops that have all got very high-powered SSTs down here. So you got AK Racing up in Queensland, you got RP Motorsport in New South Wales, and you got TME Motorsport in, I think they're in New South Wales as well. And they're all just pushing the limits on what you can get out of an SST at the moment.
Heck yeah. Love that. So, Jono, what is it that got you into circuit racing? Was it this car, or have you been into it for a while?
Circuit racing, I guess, back in 2000, we had a race here called Race of the Century or Race of the Millennium or something like that. The American Le Mans Series came down here to race on our Adelaide street circuit. And 24 hours that night, it was crazy. And that pretty much got me hooked on racing, but I was still just a young kid. I kind of went away from it. I played baseball for 14 years. And then in 2017, I went out to our local track, which is Ralliart Motorsport Park, and went out there with a couple of mates just to watch an event called SA Time Attack. And I was like, I have no idea what this is. Got out there, and just the level of cars that were on display, how fast they were going. They were full open class cars, full aero, noise that will just make you love cars, I guess is the appropriate term.
Yeah. It was a good mix of everything?
It was a good mix of everything. You had people who had never done a track day before, had gone out there and were enjoying that event. Nice. And I went, you know what, I need to get involved in this. Went out and did a couple of track days. Luckily enough, I met some amazing people who work for a track day company. And that's where I spend pretty much most of my free time, I guess you could say, is helping others enjoy the motorsport world.
Oh, cool.
Helping out on a track day, doing officialing, watching the exit gate, up in race control. So that's with a company called Open Pit Lane Australia, so which we run just normal track days, but we don't run sessions. We just let everybody have a full period out on track, obviously safely, and then we just go from there.
Wow, that's really neat. I like that a lot. I wish they had something like that around here.
We can always look at the future prospects coming over.
There you go. So, Jono, why choose the Ralliart platform to get into this type of racing?
So it's actually a very funny story about it. Not funny for everybody, funny for me. Back in 2016, me and my ex-partner at the time were looking for a new car. She was dead set on a Evo 10. It was her dream car. Yep, all good. Went out, started looking around. It was kind of out of our price range. After doing a bit of research, found out the Ralliart was like the WRX equivalent of an STI.
Yeah.
I went, okay, well, so it's pretty much just a low-powered version of a Evo 10. I'm like, it's in our price range. How about we just, we'll get it? Yep, all good. Got the car. She drove it around, all that type of stuff. I tastefully did some mods here and there. We ended up splitting up at the end of 2017, and I kind of just had a spare car sitting in the garage. And between the options of selling it and doing this, I just drove it on weekends. Then after doing my little experience with SA Time Attack in 2017, I was like, you know what? I've got the car. I've got everything I need. I just need a little bit more money, obviously. How about we just turn this into something different and something I can enjoy instead of it haunting my past, I guess is the term. So, yeah.
You turned a bad story into a good one.
Yeah, we turned something into a positive and just went from there, and then it's just snowballed.
That is so cool. That's such an interesting story. I bet you could talk to 1 million car people and not find another story like that.
Yeah, it's it was a hard time in my life. I had a lot of people come through and have helped me along the way, and people that I've met who are now friends for life.
Good deal.
So yeah, it definitely turns it into a positive.
I love that. So what was this car like when you picked it up? It was pretty much just fresh off the showroom, nothing really done to it?
It was a first owner of an old lady, which, God forbid, I need to meet this old lady who was driving this car because she's a person I want in my life. One owner, old lady, non-smoker, picked it up off the showroom. I think it's done 50-something thousand Ks.
Wow, brand new.
Pretty crazy. It's pretty much brand new. I don't know what she was doing with it, but to be honest, I'm not really fussed anymore. But yeah, paint was really good, wheels really good. Inside, SST drove amazing. It takes a little bit of getting used to with the paddles, especially coming from cars that would have 3 pedals.
Right.
But yeah. You get there eventually. It becomes a bit easier.
Just something you kind of relax into.
Yeah, I'm very much relaxed into because even my work car's an automatic, so you kind of get used to it.
Get spoiled now.
Yeah.
So, John, what kind of modifications and tuning strategies do you put into this Ralliart to get the most out of it for these circuit racing events?
for circuit events, it's mainly just setup. Our big focus, because we're not pushing big power compared to some of the other guys here, but yet we still can play with the big boys. Let's just say that much. So,
Gotcha.
Just S-Day Time Attack earlier this year, we had a couple of cars over here that were pushing 350, 400 kilowatts. So they're in that 500 horsepower bracket.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, so we can't push that much power. So what's our best thing? First off, I know the track like it's the back of my hand, so that's always a plus. But then we went, okay, so let's make sure our tyre choice is perfect. What's the best tyre we can run for the event? And then setup. Make sure our setup is dialed in as best as possible. Tyre pressures, setup, rebound rates, all that type of stuff. And then you just need a good brake pad. You need something that can withstand the punishment that it takes at a certain track. So some tracks don't use brakes at all. Bugger all, like you'll go through maybe a millimetre in a whole day. Then you've got tracks like Ralliart, which you'll go through a set of pads in a day.
Wow. So what
that type of thing is what I kind of pencil myself on making sure the car handles its best it can. Everything else comes with me just making sure I do my job.
So, Jono, I know we didn't, prepare for this question. This is from me. As someone who's never done this type of racing, what makes a track go through brakes like that?
It's just the way it's designed. So you got some tracks which will have a lot of corners, which means you're not building up speed before it so much.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of sweeping corners, or you got tracks that will have 4 big straights. For example, Ralliart Motorsport Park, you've got a long straight at the back that goes into a hairpin at like 50 k's an hour. So you're going from 200 down to 50. Then you're going at another straight, which is about 180 down to 60, 70. Then you're coming down the main straight, which is about 150 into a turn of 100. It's literally just a long straight, then a braking zone. Straight, then a braking zone. And it over and over again, you're killing the brakes and killing the tyres. So you got to stay within your limits, get down, cool down lap when you can, and keep going from there.
So a lot of straightaways and some tight turns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my local track, which is probably half an hour from here. We also have the Bend Motorsport, which is about an hour and a half. Won the best motorsport facility for 2022, I think it was, possibly 23 as well. It's an amazing circuit. I think it's FIA level 2, so yeah, it's up there. It's an amazing place to have in our backyard.
That's awesome. When I seen that you had posted those tracks and then you posted Sydney Motorsports Park, I was like, man, that's got to be like 16 hours from him.
It was a very long drive. So, World Time Attack was an experience and a half. Just to get approved in the selection process to go over there was definitely a shock. I think I was at my dad's birthday. We were just sitting there, and I looked and I went, no. And I'm like, what? And everybody's looked at me and I said, pack your bags because we're planning to go to Sydney in September. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, this is not what exactly I put in the budget for. It took a lot to get there. We redid a lot of things to make sure we were up to that standard. World Time Attack is the pinnacle of motorsport for Time Attack. Even for you guys, I know you guys got global Time Attack and all that, but if you guys could come here, you'd get to see what it's like. Especially with Ferris here, I was lucky enough to meet him while he was down here, so that was a cool experience. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, the planning that went into making sure we went over there. It was a 2-day drive. Everybody said just do it in 1 day, but we went, you know what? We're towing a 2,000 kilo trailer and car. Let's just take our time. We'll take the extra week off work and slowly go over there. So yeah, we stopped halfway day 1, got there day 2, had kind of like a little rest day in between, set up everything, scrutineered and all that, and then got to the hotel room, chilled out in the pool, and then we got pelted with rain. So yeah, it was an interesting experience.
A little bit of everything.
Something that I would do over and over again, and hopefully next year we'll get that chance to give it a bit better crack. Let's just say that much.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. This episode of the MitsuTimes podcast is brought to you by AO Customs. AO Customs is your go-to outlet for silicone gaskets for nearly all Mitsubishi platforms, including all of those hard-to-find, discontinued ones that you can't find at the parts stores anymore. They also sell those sweet silhouette cutouts to match your favorite Mitsubishi. AO Customs is also your home for vapor blasting, an alternative to sandblasting that will not leave behind any debris to get sucked into your engine or turbocharger. Check out all of their products and services at ao-customs.com. So, Jono, when it comes to the Ralliart itself, what would you say are the strengths and weaknesses when it comes to time attack racing?
The weakness is a very heavy car. Even the Evo 10 platform, like just speaking to other competitors down here, it's very hard to get weight out. Like once you get the initial chunk of it out, it's very hard to find little bits and pieces that can make the car that little bit lighter. We can get down to a minimum weight of 1,349 kilos, which we're still like 150 kilos off, which is crazy when you look at it from a like a weight point of view. But it's got a bit in there that we can remove, just going like carbon shafts and all that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, what's that really going to change that much on the car? The other weakness is, obviously your SST. You're going to need to do something to it just to prepare for future issues, I guess that's the word.
Yeah.
But if you keep up on top of your maintenance, so we did every 3 events, we fully flushed the fluid.
Oh, wow.
Made sure we checked the filters and all that. It cost a bit more, but then we were trying to make it last as long as we could at the current state it was without having to spend that big build money. I think that was part of it, helping it last so long, is just that we were vigorous with what we wanted to do with maintenance-wise on that car. We looked after it. AutoLink, who's my main sponsor, naming right sponsor, and my mechanic, Dan used to have an Evo 10, so he knows what he's talking about when he comes to it. He treats it like his car, which is what you want your mechanic to do.
Absolutely.
You want him to love the car just as much as you do. He's scared to drive it, but I'll get that out of him one day. Its strength, I think it's a sleeper. Nobody looks at it and goes, "Oh yeah, that's the car I need to be worried about."
Yeah.
Last year, we were speaking to a couple of guys, and they put us down as a dark horse for SA Time Attack. They had the big 3 at the top, and went, okay, well, let's just stay within ourselves and let's do what we needed to. We went out, and second session in, we pretty much bent a lower control arm in half, which I didn't think was possible. After bumming around and sulking for a couple hours, we found a replacement, which was about 15 minutes away. Tim graciously let us take it off of his current rally build that he's doing, stole the control arm, installed it back into the car ready before our last session of the day, and just happened to put it was a 16.8 or 16.5 to put us into the shootout, and then come to the shootout we did a 16.2, so that secured us third position, which was crazy considering we only did one session and plus 1 lap for the whole entire day.
Yeah, wow. Well, I know we talked earlier about how the SST holds up during circuit racing. Would you say that the SST is pretty good for circuit racing because the shifts are so fast?
Once you've got that the new firmware that got released, I think it was earlier this year, the changed a little bit of a dynamic to it. Felt quicker, felt more on the engaging side of things. Like, before you could feel the gears change, but this time it kind of kicks you in the ass when you're giving it a boot, which is good. If you're gonna do like full-time circuit racing, which is like 8-9 laps constant, you'd want to be looking at having heat exchangers, so the Dodson extra sump, coolers and all that type of stuff. You'd want to be attaching all of those. So we run the SSP Titan cooler at the front and the Dodson heated sump, which also has the cooling side of it as well. So we run both of those.
Okay.
Which is kind of just us preventing any chance of it overheating. And then we also have the effect that we can have it up to temp, ready to go, and then take it straight out and give it a good old crack instead of having to wait, let the car warm up, let it run through its gears. So before we got the Dodson Sump, we used to have to do pretty much 2, I guess you say, just medium driving laps beforehand, just to get everything up to temp to start the day.
Wow.
And then you could maintain it throughout the day with a little bit of ease. But that first morning session was always the one where you felt like you lost a bit of time trying to get everything up to temp. So, yeah, installing the Dodson Sump was probably something that was high on the list, and probably should have done it first thing when I bought the car, in hindsight.
Yeah, I think other SST owners need to look into stuff like that if they plan on doing some racing.
It's not cheap, but it's safety in the long run.
Right. And, could potentially save you thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So, Jono, you think looking back at it now, if you could start over and do this build again, would you do it that way, or would you, sell that Ralliart on and move on to a different car?
I get asked this question so many times: would I have done it differently? Would I have changed the car? No, I would have kept the car. It's been something that's part of me, I guess, is the main point. I had a chance to buy an Evo 10 probably like 6 weeks ago, which was ready to go. Had competed at World Time Attack, and I was ummed and ahed over it, and I was like, I don't need it. And I was like, I'm enjoying the journey that I'm on. Yes, I might not be at the top at the moment, but hey, it's my journey. It'll take me wherever I'm going.
Yeah, for sure.
Would I have done things differently on the car? 100%. I think I went through 4 different exhausts just before I found a custom one that I enjoyed.
Oh, wow.
So that's going back to when the car was still on the street. So you have to make it street compliable to now where it doesn't matter. It's just a straight pipe all the way through. So there's a couple of grand in exhaust piping and work done. So in hindsight, I went through a lot of different stages where I tried things, didn't like it, went to something else. So I could have saved a lot of money in that type of perspective. But at the end of the day, it's still character building. I got to learn through that experience what doesn't work, and I can pass on knowledge of going, hey, this is what didn't work for me. If you want to try it, go ahead, but it didn't work for me, and I didn't like it. So
those are the best learning moments.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, do you think out of all those, maybe bad stories or what have you, that, with this car, that you have a favorite racing story that, you will remember forever, even if you move on from this car?
I would 100% put my 2023 World Time Attack bid in. I guess you could say that whole, from the start to the end.
Yeah.
Taking 12 of my closest friends over to Sydney with me, having my family, mum and dad, having everybody there was an experience of a lifetime. Coming in, thanking everybody at the end of the 2 days was crazy, and just being able to just relax a little bit was amazing. But spending that event with the people that you love in life is something that's next level.
Yeah.
You can't replicate that, especially that first time when hey, we worked so hard to get here. This is what it was all for. I can't thank those people enough in my life for all the little bits and pieces that they've done, where they've given up weekends with families to come and support my racing, let alone fly halfway across Australia, which is no easy feat.
Yeah. Yeah.
It definitely been my number one moment. At least at the moment it is.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, what an adventure that must have been.
It was it was pretty epic. Might have to get you guys to come down here next year.
Absolutely, I would absolutely love it. I've been trying to, get to some more outside events. I really only go to the same couple of drag racing events, and I'm ready to expand into other markets.
Oh, sounds good, mate.
So, Jono, if someone out there is listening right now, they have a Ralliart, maybe they don't want to get into drag racing, they want to do what you're doing and get their SST out there and take it through the gears, what advice would you give them so that they can, go down a successful path?
Maintenance. It would be just keep on top of it. If you're going to plan on doing anything with that SST, even just constant doing hills runs, and spirited driving, let's just call it that. Just maintenance. Make sure you're doing that fluid check. Obviously, you don't have to do it as much as we were, but just keeping on top of it. Don't let that car sit there for forever, and just let the fluid just continually build around and possibly have a not happy ending to that story. But yeah, if you're planning on tracking the car, chuck a cooler on it. You don't need the heated sump straight away, but having a cooler will help with those track days instead of having the limp mode kick in saying that the trans is too hot. Just using the correct fluids where you need to. You've got pages everywhere, all over Facebook, that will tell you what the correct fluid are. If your mechanic's telling you different, then hey, maybe reach out and just say something. There's no dumb questions, as much as some people in the world think that they like to put other people down. There's going to be someone that's just going to be like, you know what, I was that kid one day asking that question, and they'll reach out to you. There's a lot of good people in the world that will do that.
Awesome. Well, Jono, what are your goals for 2024 with this car?
I've been trying to keep it a secret, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
It's a bit hard in good old Adelaide to keep things a secret around here. So we've got SA Time Attack, which is in February 18th, 17th, one of those two. Should probably check that. So that will be our main goal to start the year off. So we're pretty much there. We've got a new rebuilt diff going into the car first thing, and then just some other little goodies which will just tighten up suspension. We'll have another realignment, make sure we're good to go. Nothing will really change. It'll just be what we do. Come February, we'll just give it our best crack. And then the car will go away for a little bit of time and have some goodies done to it. The engine will be coming out. I won't say exactly what's happening to that engine, but it's coming out. It's going to have something better going in. It's got a new intense turbo, which I bought a couple of weeks ago. So that arrived last week, week before. So that's going to add some spice to the package. So that will put her up around 400 kilowatts, which will be about your 500, 550 horsepower range. What else? We got a new livery coming for 2024, so that will be done just before World Time Attack. There's only select people who know about that one. So we had our first drafts done last week by Frank Ricky Design. So that came out amazing. Just some small tweaks that will make that look pretty epic for 2024. And then hopefully we'll hear back end of March regarding our World Time Attack expression of interest. And then we'll head over to Sydney. Greg at Sydney Composites will do a new aero package for the car. So that's probably besides the engine, that's probably our biggest upgrade, is an actual aero package that's not just something we buy off the shelf. It's something that's designed for the car. So that should be good. And then, it just all comes down to that event. Should be good to go. Give it a red hot crack and see where we end up.
Wow, that's exciting. That 2024 is going to be a big year.
It's going to be an expensive one. Let's just say that much.
So, Jono, do you have a long-term goal for this car? You want to, take home the Global Time Attack Championship?
It's funny enough. I was looking at it, but at the moment, I don't have funds to take the car anywhere. I would love to take it over to the US, see you guys, just spend a couple of years driving around. It's hard watching Grid Life streams and all that, and just knowing I could actually be doing that. But yeah, so at the moment we'll just keep it local. We'll give our time attack series a bit of a crack. So we've got 3 main ones here in Australia. So you've got SA Time Attack, World Time Attack, and Oz Time Attack, which is in Victoria. We also have a WA Time Attack series, but something happened to this year's event, so that will also be another one we'll probably put on the list. And then Queensland, which is up the top right of Australia, they run a Time Attack series, so it's like a 5-round kind of points thing, so that's kind of cool as well. Yeah, so there's lots of little different things that happen. Everybody has their own twist on it. So like to definitely get around to driving a couple more tracks. Apart from that, the next option would be taking the car overseas somewhere. But yeah, that's maybe a long-term goal.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's not feasible unless I win the lotto or something like that.
It sounds like there's no shortage of racetracks there first.
No, they're building them quicker than anybody can think. We just had a new one built at Townsville, which is up in Queensland. And there's, I think, like a petition type thing to start 2 other ones going. So, yeah, wow. It's getting a bit crazy, which is good. As long as they're moving them away from houses and whatnot, so people don't complain, then we should be good to go.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're going the opposite way here, it seems like.
We were in that same kind of space at one point where it just felt like they were shutting down tracks just because people were living next door. Even one of our older tracks in Australia, which is Wakefield Park, they got shut down, I think it was 2022, just due to complaints from some noisy people. But they've gone into building full soundproof walls and stuff like that to knock down the noise. So they're planning to open up next year, which will be good to see.
Well, I think we've well covered your list of events that you plan to attend in 2024. Let's talk about where people can find and follow you on social media so they can see more of this car in action and see that new livery coming out.
So it's just at Rallyx Motorsport on everything. So YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
So, at the end, I always give people a chance to give a thanks or a shout out to anybody who's helped them get where they are, get their car where it is. Is there anybody that you want to give a thanks to?
There's a couple of people. So you got Dan and Caroline at AutoLink Mechanical. The car obviously wouldn't be anywhere without them. Dizzy Decals, who's the guru behind all my wrapping crazy ideas. He puts them into focus for me. You got Phil at Intima, who without him looking after my brakes, I probably wouldn't be anywhere. I think we've been together like 4 years now, which is crazy. So we've done R&D for them and all of those type of things. Open Pit Lane Australia, which I said is the lovely company that I get a chance to volunteer my time for, helping others enjoy motorsport. Dave and the team are amazing at what they do. They put on some of the best events that just public track days you can have. And then you got Gorecki Photography, which is Alex, who does all my amazing photos. She's crazy what she does. She makes it focus just that little bit better. It means I don't have to just ask random people for photos at events. I can just go, you know what? Your photos will come out eventually.
Yeah.
And Ben from BDB Media, which is kind of a newer person to the team, but he'll be doing all of our video stuff for the next foreseeable future.
Good deal. Well, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to come on here and tell your story. I hope that we can motivate some more Ralliart people to go out and use their car instead of just driving it back and forth to work every day. And, I wish you the best of luck in 2024. I hope I get to come see you.
Yeah, it is scary at first, but at the end of the day, you can only go out there and have a bit of fun, right? You only live once.
Right. It's just money, right?
It is just money. just when it goes bad, it's when it costs a lot of money. But there's safe environments to do everything. Just learn and research everything before you go and do it, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Matt. Hopefully we'll see you next year.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for listening to the MitsuTimes podcast. Check out our Instagram and Facebook for daily updates. Get added to our list by going to MitsuTimes.org and clicking Submit a Slip. Thank you to all of our sponsors.